Hello guys, so today we're going to do adding mixed numbers with unlike denominators. The first problem is, we're going to do 1, make it smaller. We're going to do 1 and 4/5 plus 2 and 1/10. That's going to be our problem today. The first step is always find a common denominator. I see that my denominators are 5 and 10. Right off the bat, I should realize that there's a relationship between 5 and 10. I know that 5 could go into 10, and I know clearly that 10 could go into 10 also. But let's say you don't notice that relationship. What you could do is make a list counting by your 5s. So you have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And then make another list counting by your 10s. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And now, you want to look at what numbers you have in common. I see that I have a 20 in common on my list, and I also have a 30 in common on my list. So I could use either of these numbers, or I see clearly that I have a 10 in common too, right there. Usually, it would be better to use the least common denominator. If it asks you to use the least common denominator, then you have to use the least common denominator. In this case, I'm going to use the least common denominator, which is 10. So, go back to my problem here. I'm going to use 10 as my common denominator, so I'm going to write common denominator. Denominator is 10. So what did I multiply this, or what can I multiply this denominator to make it to 10? I could do that by 2. What I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. And I multiply the 4, which is my numerator, by 2 also. My new equivalent fraction will be 1 and 8/10. And then over here, down below, 10 is my denominator. I don't need to change anything. So this equals 2 and 1/10 still. And now I'm just going to add. So first I'm going to go ahead and do my whole numbers, which is 1 plus 2. And I get 3. And then now I'm going to add. I'm going to add my numerators, which is 8 and 1. 8 plus 1 equals 9. The denominators are common, which is why I can add the numerators. My common denominator is 10. We already figured that out. So now 8 plus 1 is 9, and then 10 is my denominator. Stays the same. So my answer is 3 and 9/10. I can now check if this is in simplest form. I have a 9 as my numerator and a 10 as my denominator. I can see that it is in simplest form because there is no number that goes into both 9 and 10 evenly. So I could use 3. 3 goes into 9, but 3 doesn't go into 10. So anyways, that is in simplest form. And your answer is 3 and 9/10. Okay, until next time. This is adding mixed numbers with unlike denominators.